Sister. Oh, I feel as though we never asked the question. Are you more of a Tia or more of a Tamara?
Oh. I guess Tamara. Tamara's the reckless one.
Yeah.
I guess I'd go Tamara. Yeah.
I was a Tia. I'm
Tia.
such a goody
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, granted, I wouldn't, like, immediately blurt out, like, oh my god, we lied! Like, but I was still like, nope, do nothing.
Yeah.
Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
So this past week we watched
Sister. Yes, like with all of our TV show reviews, we just watched the first season. So things can change, but we're going based off the first season.
All right. So I guess as usual, like the IMDb review.
Yep.
Rating, whatever it's called.
Yep. Tia Landry and Tamara Campbell are twins separated at birth who learn of each other's existence and come together as teenagers.
Okay.
Which, yeah, that's what happened.
All right. As usual, start off with things we liked about the show.
Yes.
I guess I'll kick this one off.
Okay.
I really like the mom and dad.
I said that's like one of the first things I have.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love their relationship, and I loved how they didn't like force a romance on them.
Oh yes.
You know, so they were just kind of like just co-parenting essentially. So I don't know, I just really liked them. I thought they had like a great dynamic. They had like some great jokes. Especially that episode where the mom came and they had to pretend to be. I even
have that down there too.
Oh
my gosh,
like,
great
episode.
Oh, they were so great.
Yeah, I love their dynamic together.
Yeah. I loved that too. I especially loved Lisa's character. I thought she was without a doubt the funniest. She had some really great lines. I think Ray was a good straight man / foil to her, but they were so funny together. And like you said, I also really enjoyed the fact that they weren't romantic and they were just like two kind of like frenemies becoming co-parents or whatever. And just like navigating the fact that they each adopted a twin and they want to stay in each other's lives. Like I love that. So if we're gonna do something different, that's not me just saying verbatim what you said. I liked the cheating episode where Tia and Tamara cheat. What happens in it? They switch places.
Switch positions.
To cheat. I just really liked that episode because I liked the twin hijinks aspect of it, and there wasn't a lot of that in the show. Not that it needed it to be funny. We'll get into that later. But I really loved it, especially the part where Tia immediately caved.
Yeah.
They were we're not gonna tell. We just got away with and they more or less got away with it. They were they intercepted the call and everything, and then she's like, "Cool, we did it. We're gonna be fine." Yeah. And then Mom comes in, she's like, "Oh my god, we cheated!" And I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that kind of goes into the next thing I had. I just like the twins. Their dynamic together. Not really their dynamic per se, but I like their differences, I guess. Like how, I guess Tia was kind of the more straight edge.
More studious one.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one was kind of like the wild card, always getting into shenanigans.
Yeah.
So I kind of like how that played off each other. And I did like the cheating episode, and I kind of wish they did a little more with the twin shenanigans
I say that
too, you know? Because they had other shenanigans, but they were kind of just regular sibling shenanigans, not really twin shenanigans per se. But I definitely did like the two of them and how they were different and kind of interacted with each other.
Yeah. That's actually all I have. Because you said the exact episode where Lisa and Ray pretend to be married. I loved that one. And the cheating episode, Lisa and Ray. And Lisa, that's all I have.
All right. The last thing I had, I loved Roger. I thought he was hilarious. And in terms of a lot of these shows have had that one guy they just kick out every scene, or that one pervy guy. He's been my favorite so far.
Yeah, that's such a 90s.
Yeah, it
probably
really
even
is.
80s thing.
It really is.
The one guy who
whose sole purpose is to get kicked out of the kitchen or get kicked out of the house.
Yeah. A lot of times they'll flirt with one of the main girls, but they primarily just want to kick him out. Yeah, I did like Roger.
But I think he's been my favorite so far of the characters who get kicked out. That was my last thing. Okay, so get into negatives. You want to start this one off?
Yeah, Okay, this is weird, but I enjoyed the Lisa and Ray storyline so much more than Tia and Tamara's. I just found their dynamic and everything they were doing so much more exciting than what Tia and Tamara were doing. I don't know if it's because of my age and I'm not, like, doing high school things anymore, but Lisa and Ray were so much more interesting than Tia and Tamara, so it kind of, like, bogged the show down for me, hanging out with Tia and Tamara. I was like, what are Lisa and Ray up to? Like, what are they getting into? Wow. And also, they didn't, like, I wish they either showed me more Lisa and Ray, or at least combined them more. Because they didn't even do a lot of parents and kids all together. They just, like, had the parent story and then the twin story, and, like, they don't really meet that much, which is bad for me because I want to hang out with Lisa and Ray.
Wow, okay. No, I'm actually glad you said that because, like, I was like, I like the show. I like, just to, like, put my cards out there, I like the show, but I couldn't think of, like, the problem I had with the show. And so what I wrote down, I was like, nitpick. Like, these conflicts between the two girls didn't seem that interesting. And, like, there weren't that many interesting conflicts. But then I wrote, except for the conflicts between Lisa and Ray. I was like, those were interesting. And I was like, I couldn't figure out what was bothering me. But, like, no, I would love that show just, like, focusing on them two a little more. Or at least, like, having, like, interactions between the opposite child and the other parent. You know what I mean?
They didn't do
like,
a lot
they didn't
of that
do
either.
any of that. They just had the two girls buddy, which, like, wasn't that exciting. And then the parents had, like, actual conflict. So, yeah, no, I'm actually glad you said it that way. Because I was, like, struggling to figure out what my problem with this show was. And no, like, the parents were far more interesting than the two girls.
Because, like you said, the twins' conflict was, like, they didn't argue with each other.
No, like, they got along right away, like, perfect synchrony. And they had
fun. Like, and of course, because Tia was the straight man to Tamara, she would, like, be reluctant, but she'd still go along. So it was like, you guys aren't fighting with each other. Your problems are, like, high school problems, so I don't really care that hard. Like, we either need to, like, mix up the twins and the parents, or, like, have all of you come together, because what Lisa and Ray are doing is, like, conflict and, like, it was like
it was just way more exciting.
It was more exciting. It was like Tia and Tamara were in black and white, and Lisa and Ray were in color.
Actually, though. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess, did you have anything else, or?
The other thing I said was I thought there'd be more twin antics, like switching places or something like that, or getting confused for each other. Like, even something like that, but they didn't really do that. I don't know if they do that later, but I kind of wanted more twin shenanigans. Okay. And do you have anything else?
No, I mean, that was all I really
and then the last thing I have was the narration was a little too inconsistent for me.
Yeah, no, that did kind of come out of place, you know?
Yeah. Because it wasn't like, I'm going to mention Moesha again in my review, but, like, unlike Moesha, which kind of, like, bookended it, where she'd, like, start off and end off with narration, they kind of just would randomly start talking into the camera, and I'm like... Yeah. Like, in my head, I told myself it was just at the beginning of episodes, but it definitely was not. No,
like,
it wasn't.
It definitely would be, like, kind of random moments, and it wasn't every episode either.
Yeah, some episodes they wouldn't narrate anything, sometimes they would, like, narrate a bit in the beginning, sometimes they'd, like, cap it off with narration, and I'm like... I really need you to pick a solid time to narrate, or just don't narrate. Yeah,
and in my head, I was kind of thinking less Moesha. I was more thinking like those Drake and Josh intros where they just talk.
Ooh.
I was thinking of those, but I was like, those are consistently every episode. So in my head, I was thinking, oh, it's like that Drake and Josh thing, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. They'd just be like in the middle of a scene, and they just break the fourth wall. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Okay.
They especially did in that first episode. All of a sudden, and now we're and I'm like,
that first episode was kind of like it was corny and kind of a pain to get through, but like I liked it. I liked it though, you know. Like, it was just cheesy enough.
That was the twin shenanigans I wanted more of. Where like the little shopkeeper was like, "You said you wanted a sweater." No, I said I wanted a sweatshirt. Sweatshirt. Like that kind of thing. I wanted more of that.
Yeah, no, but they kind of like didn't do anything with that after.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for ratings then?
Yes.
Alright. I guess, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll give this one a 3.5. I actually, like I said, like, I really like this show. It was very enjoyable to watch. Like, yes, the conflicts weren't that, like, pressing, but it made for, like, a very light watch, very enjoyable, and, this is a show, like, I really think I would have loved as a kid, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I also say that, too.
And so, like, to me, like, to me, I guess the show I immediately thought of, because, like, twins, like, we watched a lot of Zack and Cody.
Yep.
I recently watched, like, Zack and Cody on, like, Disney Plus or whatever. it didn't age well, but
Zack
like this
and Cody
aged a
doesn't
lot.
hold up.
Like this aged a lot better, and like that's
Yeah.
me not having seen it. So like maybe if I had seen it as a kid, it maybe wouldn't have. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like it just like off like just looking at them both. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this one aged a lot better, and I don't know. It was just a fun watch for me. I thought.
Yeah. I realized twins is like a big part of like the 90s.
Yeah.
Because there was Zack and Cody, Mary-Kate and Ashley,
Yeah.
Tia Tamara. Just like twins were all over the place.
Yeah. I feel like they even made like a reference to it, like, oh, we're twins, we don't need talent. And they said something like that in the talent show episode.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember that.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
So I gave this one a 3 out of 5. I just felt similar to Moesha. It was just a very standard sitcom, but it was like pretty light, breezy, easy to get through. I wish they incorporated the adults and children together a bit more. I also wish there was more twin antics. All of this is things I've said before. And I also, and again, I just didn't think it was good that I enjoyed the adult side of the story more than the kid side of the story. Maybe that would have been different if we watched it when we were younger, but Team Lisa and Ray, as friends, I don't want them to get together. I actually looked it up on Wikipedia. They never get together, and I'm so happy.
Oh, good.
I didn't mean to look it up, but I was like, but before this, I was like, I can't remember who was the smart one, who was the crazy one, and I was like looking through, and it was like, and Ray and Lisa never get together, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
That's actually good, because going into our final question, do you want to see the next season, or would you watch the next season? I said no, and one of the reasons was because they did that kiss at the end, and I didn't want to see them fall in love. And I didn't even want to risk it. So that was, like, the first reason. The other reason, like, I'm just too old for this show now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to watch it. But the main reason was, like, okay, they did that kiss the last episode, and they did, like, fully brush it off. Like, oh, nothing happened, but then they ended the episode. So it could have been one of those things, like, like, will they, won't they? End of season, you know?
Season 2.
So I didn't even want to risk it and, like, go to the next one. But now that I know they don't, like, it doesn't change my answer, but because of the whole being too old thing. But, that was something I had written down. I did not want them to fall in love.
Yeah, I'm so happy they don't. I'm probably not going to go out of my way to watch it, so mine's is a no as well.
Yeah.
But if it's on somewhere, I won't, like, turn it off. Like, this was just fine enough for me. Just very standard, classic, not offensive. But it was pretty pretty cool.
Alright. So that was Sister.
Yes, it was.
YouTube housekeeping. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do TV shows and music on Sundays, and on Tuesdays and Fridays we do movies. All of our socials will be linked in the description down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye!
I wonder if they're like actually like that in person.
I don't know.
Because like they did the same thing to Zack and Cody, made one the kind of like more straight edge
one, and then one more wild one.
Yeah.
They do that with twins.
Yeah, they just. I guess you gotta have to.
Because like I said, it was Zack and Cody. I mean Dylan and Cole Sprouse, and then Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, Tia and Tamara, and then this isn't like a twin. But Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, that was another twin separated at birth thing.
Yeah.
Like, twins was like a huge part of the 90s. I don't know what that's about. And there's probably more twins.
Yeah.